This is video 5 in my Strength Training for Weight Loss series. My name is Kamina Sue from Strength Karma, and now we're going to help you build that awesome upper body strength you're looking for with vertical pushing and pulling exercises. Check it out. Okay, you guys, so we've covered the deadlift, we've covered the squat. Now we're going to move into our upper body. So I'm going to show an example of a vertical pushing exercise, and I'm going to be using a kettlebell, what's called a bottoms up kettlebell, because I'm holding it upside down like so. So once again, don't get caught up on the fact that I'm using a kettlebell. You don't need to do this necessarily. You can be using a dumbbell. And I'm just going to share with you some cues and things that you want to be aware of to maintain good form. So the first thing you want to be thinking about is, yes, you guessed it, our core stability. So making sure that you've got your navel engaged into the spine and that you've got feeling nice and tall. And you've got a weight that you can handle without it being too heavy. So I would be conservative at first if you're new to this, and then working your way up. I'm going to explain how to progress in your strength training in another video in the series. So go ahead and take that bracing breath, inhaling here, exhaling, shh. So we've got the navel into the spine. We're going to take an inhalation here, exhaling, push up, inhaling down, exhaling and press. Inhaling down, exhaling and press. Now, a lot of the time you'll have maybe 2 dumbbells in each hand, in which case you would be lifting 2 things up at once. It doesn't really matter. I just happen to have 1 kettlebell here. Or you could do single arm as well. So the things you want to be aware of when you're doing vertical pressing is that you want to make sure that you're not doing this and you're kind of like sticking your butt out. You really want to make sure that you are bracing and keeping your rib cage and your hip bones in the same line. So if you're lifting something too heavy, you'll know it's too heavy because you'll want to arch your back more than likely. So that's where you want to start off a little bit lighter and make sure you keep that nice alignment of that hip bone and the rib cage, and that requires you engaging your core. So everything all kind of connects together. So one of my very favorite bodyweight exercises to do is the pull-up, and it's a full body exercise that teaches you so much about core control, about breathing, about bracing, and it just feels really, really great to get your first pull-up. Now, if you're watching this video, you might not have your first pull-up yet. So I'm going to share with you something that you can do to practice to get your first pull-up, and then we're just going to go ahead and do our pull-ups, and I'll share a few things with you to be able to improve your pull-ups if you are able to do them already. So what you want to be thinking about when you're doing your pull-ups is that, as I mentioned, the pull-up being a full body exercise, you're not just using your arms, you're using your entire body. So you want to be thinking about very much as you're doing a press up, your body's moving in one line. And so when it comes to doing the pull-up, you want to be thinking about connecting your arms with your back. So I like to imagine my arms are really, really long. They start about here, like right by the bottom of my rib cage. And by doing that, that actually makes it easier for me to connect my arms with my back, and then have that confidence and that knowing that I'm not just using my arms. Okay, it's very, very, it's like a little psychological thing that you can play around with and see if it helps you as well. So you want to connect your arms with your back, and you also want to be thinking about your shoulder blades. So a lot of the time people don't use their shoulder blades, or they don't think about the shoulder blades, that they have to move freely around the rib cage in order for you to get the full range of motion that you need to be getting to get the full benefit of the exercise. You see a lot of people who don't do the full range of motion in a pull-up. They basically maybe stop halfway, so their arms are still a little bit bent, and then they pull the chest back up to the bar again. And that's not only really tiring because your arm is always in contraction, but also you're not engaging your back. Okay, so it's something very, very important to think about. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go ahead and start off with the negative pull, and I'm going to do that by placing my hands on the bar like so, and then I'm going to get in touch with my shoulder blades by gently drawing my elbows in together. I'm going to take an inhalation here, exhaling, I'm doing that bracing breath. I'm going to take an inhalation leaping myself up to the bar. Exhaling, I'm going to slowly lower myself down, and I like to lean back here just so I can really feel my back working. I've crossed my legs, so I've got a bit more space to actually be at full hang here in the doorway, okay? So the thing about when you're doing it from home is that when you cross your legs, you're doing more of this. So you're actually arching more on the lower back, which means that you need to really have that awareness of that core engagement. So you don't just drop and then your lower back arches excessively. You want to always be thinking about drawing those hips forward, okay, even with your legs crossed back behind you. So let's go ahead and do that again. I'm going to take an inhalation here, exhaling, and then we're going to cross those legs. I'm going to lean back and slowly lower myself down. And that's negative. So I would, if you're new to pull-ups, relatively new, or you want to clean up your pull-up form, I would recommend sticking with the negatives and doing about 3 to 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps. Now, once you've gotten your negative pull, then you want to be thinking about doing the full movement. And so just know that you can do it. You can build a lot of strength in doing just negatives. That's how I built the strength to be able to do a proper pull-up, was just doing negatives for about 6 months, and they really work. So let's go ahead now and do the pull-up from the hang. So you want to be here, inhaling here. Once again, I'd like to take that bracing breath. Got my navel locked into the spine. I'm going to lift my chest slightly towards the bar, and then I'm going to pull. On the exhalation, I like to lower myself down, nice and slow. So once you've done your desired number of reps, you can go ahead and come down. So with the pull-ups, I like to exhale on the hardest part of any exercise. So that's obviously bringing the chest to the bar, and then always maintaining that navel in towards the spine, and once again engaging with the shoulder blades. For vertical pulling, those exercises such as things like pull-ups, or if you are at a gym, you may have access to a lat pull-down machine. And so that's all that is. It's a vertical pushing and vertical pulling exercises that you want to be thinking about to help build that upper body strength. Now, alongside with the vertical pushing and pulling, we're going to be talking about horizontal pushing and pulling. So stay tuned for that in the next video.